Last time on D&D featuring Calliope Laurelleaf, the Halfling Bard, Ellie Jobel, the Gnome Ranger Rogue, Phelan, the High Elf Cleric, Talarin, the Wood Elf Ranger, Trogdor, the Dragonborn Barbarian, Torpo, the Hill Dwarf Wizard, and Alaric Lysane, the Human Fighter.
Phelan and Alaric rejoin the party and they confirm that the magical swords that belonged to Martel from a few sessions ago, he had been the fighter in the undead town, that his blades, the dual blades, are both indeed cursed, and to quote the cleric who examined them, they were forged in the flames of hell. So the party has these two cursed weapons that they're going to keep and see if they can do something about it. In the meantime, the caravan prepares to leave Ridgecrest, which the party is also going to join, and they are headed for a town known as Lakefront because the party is eventually headed towards the area that is affectionately known as the Broken Lands, which is far to the west. It is a massive desert similar to what you would think of Death Valley. It is known as the Broken Lands, and there is a city there known as Drastor. The reason they're going that way is because way back in the second or third session, they had accidentally failed to save a dryad who was sacrificed, and as a result, a fallen angel was released due to a ritual. And now they're out to stop this fallen angel. So this caravan is preparing to leave Ridgecrest, and its next stop is Lakefront, so they're still quite a ways away from reaching Drastor. There are a few instances of trouble along the road. The concern did escalate when, in the distance, they could see literally hundreds of people marching on the road, shambling towards them. And they are basically coming from the direction of Lakefront. So Talarin and Ellie ride ahead to see what is going on. They're expecting it to be basically some kind of massive undead army of some kind. But they discover that these people claim to be survivors of Lakefront, and most of them are very badly wounded. It's a surprise that they're even standing in some cases. Most of them look burned. Their flesh has scabs, their clothing is, singed. They explain that they never saw what hit them since it came at night, but there was definitely a loud roar that they all heard. Several people in the caravan are concerned because they have family in Lakefront and ask the party to go ahead and investigate if they will. The party agrees and finds bodies of two people cut and torn to pieces displayed on the gates. Primarily their heads are displayed on the gates. The corpse of these two individuals are ripped and torn and just thrown against the gate, the entrance gate. So something is clearly very upset at these two people at the very least. The party then, for whatever reason, we all know this is a bad idea, so if you've played D&D, you know what I'm about to say. The party decides to separate when they get there. Calliope and Phelan look for medical supplies for themselves and the survivors of Lakefront, while Torpo and Ellie look into a wizard's tower that they had seen that had collapsed during the attack, and Alaric, Trogdor, and Talarin look for the town's bank, not for the best of purposes. Calliope and Phelan do find some medical supplies after some extensive searching. Meanwhile, Torpo and Ellie remove some rubble at the fallen tower, and they actually discover a passage that leads underground. Slowly and quietly they make their way down, and a glowing sphere of some kind seems to be blocking their way, and Ellie tries to use a bag to ensnare this floating sphere of green light, and it turns out to be a skull that is floating, and it is a medic of some kind, and he is alive and furious. She attempts to destroy it, but nicks it because of a critical fail, and sends the skull bouncing down the stairs, far, far, far below. Meanwhile, Trogdor, Talarin, and Alaric, they find the bank and crawl underneath because it has collapsed. They do find some valuables, but the steel safe door is what is holding up the whole enclosure. And they realize if they try to get into it, something could send it collapsing down. And that's right when everyone hears a loud roar, probably similar to what the townspeople heard at night, and everyone in the building is forced to make a dex save and escape the building as it begins to collapse. All of them make it out, except for Alaric, who gets trapped under some stone and takes some crushing damage every round that he is pinned. The source of the roar is a undead black dragon by the name of Ebony, who has been resurrected with a staff given to Onyx, another black dragon that the party encountered. I'll explain that in a moment. Talaran fires off an arrow and draws the dragon's attention while trying to get everyone else's attention as well to warn them that there is a dragon here. Phelan casts a wall of air spell, which does damage the dragon until he just decides to fly over it. The party, knowing it's an undead black dragon, launches an attack. Torpo uses a slow spell, which, through some miracle, this dragon continues to fail repeatedly. It takes significant damage from all this that is going on. The dragon launches its breath, which is a acid attack coming from its undead bowels, and everyone makes their save, taking half damage, except for Calliope, who takes the full damage. Though gravely wounded, she stays to fight, her sword glowing with the presence of undead. She is the one who actually strikes the killing blow, finally bringing down the undead black dragon. So this adventure ties to a previous adventure in which the party encountered a black dragon. This was back in session 7. They had gone to that mining town and fought several undead, including an undead medic who had gotten a hold of an ancient staff from the Broken Lands that had warped him and drove him insane, so that he was basically going to the cemetery to raise the dead to work the mines because he thought that was a better solution. And the party had been told to basically go after him, get the staff, and destroy it if they could. However, a black dragon by the name of Onyx found them and said, "Hey, get the staff and bring it to me so I can resurrect my brother, Ebony, so that we can track down these 2 hunters that killed Ebony." And so the party goes in, comes out, and the black dragon is waiting, and reluctantly they give the staff to the black dragon, who then, behind the scenes, had resurrected their deceased brother Ebony, which was the undead dragon here in Lakefront. So all these are tying together. The 2 bodies at the front gate were the 2 hunters that had killed Ebony, that Ebony used their senses to essentially track back down to Lakefront. And unfortunately, because the hunters were there, the entire town of Lakefront paid. So now, with the party headed to Lakefront and Lakefront in ruins, what will happen next? Let's find out soon.